Hey guys, my name is RJ, this is The Secret Stacks, and I have a torrid love affair with libraries, which is a weird thing to say, not because I just said torrid love affair, but talking about libraries on Booktube, which is kind of crazy. But my reading habits have always made me a little bit of a black sheep in the Booktube community, either a black sheep or a unicorn or a pretty little snowflake individual, just like everybody else. The majority of my reading comes from the library. Ebooks from the library. That's why you don't see me doing epic hauls or having pretty shelves behind me. I have a shelf, but it's two-dimensional. And even though this might make my channel less popular, I really wouldn't have it any other way. The library has been such an important part of my life, both as a reader and a person, just fundamental to who I am. And I wanted to share that with you. Number one, because I want to let you get to know me a little bit better. But number two, and maybe most importantly, I want to emphasize that you don't need to spend a lot of money to be a reader or be on Booktube. Because when I hear that, it breaks my heart that people feel like there's limits to be part of our community or part of the wonderful hobby and passion that is reading. So where did my love of libraries come from? Well, I'm the oldest with 3 younger brothers. And when I was younger, that meant a lot of waiting. Waiting for rides, waiting around after school, just waiting. And I spent most of that time as a kid in the library, where my choices were essentially do something stupid, do something dangerous, or develop a lifelong love of reading. It's really amazing that the library was there for me. When you've got a lot of siblings, growing up there isn't a lot of money to go around for buying books. I don't want to over dramatize this because my parents always had books in the house when I was younger, and they also bought me plenty of books. But when I was a kid, if I bought every book that I read, I could have put a dent in J.K. Rowling's fortune. And the really cool thing about the library is it was the one place that gave me complete control. When my parents bought me books or they bought me clothes, anything like that, they were doing it for me, but they were the ones making the choices. At the library, I was the one picking who I wanted to read and what fan I wanted to become, and that was really foundational to develop that passion for reading because it gave me a sense of agency, a sense of decision making that really put me in the driver's seat. And being able to shape my own love of reading was such a powerful experience. Plus, maybe the best part of the library is it was quiet. When you've got 3 younger brothers, it's not that easy to find a little bit of quiet. So when I went to high school, I went to boarding school, which meant I was trading my 3 younger brothers for 50 that all lived on the same floor. Finding quiet was even tougher. Of course, I ducked in the library during the day, but one of my most favorite memories from high school is at night after lights out. I used to sneak out of my dorm room downstairs to the library, jimmy the lock, and there's actually, in the back corner, there's a chair underneath the windows where there was just enough light from the outside lamps that I was able to read there. It was perfect because it was mine, my place, my experience, my book, and that's what reading has always been about to me. In college, it was more of the same. If living somewhere means eating, sleeping, and suffering over thousands of essays, then I definitely lived in the library. The library meant so much to me that I actually named my Booktube channel after it. The Secret Stacks were a hidden spot in my college library. If you want to hear the story about that, I'll leave a link down below. And after college, there have been times where I just haven't had the money to buy every book that I want to read. Adulting is hard and you need to sort of make choices. And the library has allowed me the choice to keep reading. I buy the books I can and fill in the rest for free. So if libraries are so great, then why isn't everybody using them? Well, on Booktube, the answer is both obvious and complicated. We place a big emphasis on the aesthetics of books on Booktube. The pretty hardcovers, the perfect shelves, the amazing hauls, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it does create a consumerist culture around our reading habits, with a feeling that you have to buy a lot of books to fit in and keep up with the Joneses. Because the truth is, if you get all your books from the library, well, you have to give them back. And I've also heard that libraries are gross, and that argument is a little bit problematic, a little bit funny, but if it's true for you, then it's legitimate for you. It's okay if you're uncomfortable touching books that other people have touched, but just be aware that not everybody has that luxury if they want to be a reader. But just because you have that concern doesn't mean that that should exclude you from using the library. Like I said, I read almost exclusively ebooks and I get a lot of them from the library. It's really awesome. Sunday night after Game of Thrones, I can hit up my library, check out a book, and be reading that night. It's really incredible. Plus, nobody's ever gotten any germs from an ebook. And finally, I was talking to my friend Allie over at Alibaba Books, and she brought up a good point that while she supports libraries, she also wants to make sure she's doing her part to support authors by buying their books. And while the different ways you can support authors is a bigger conversation in this video, I do want to say that checking out books from the library does support your favorite authors. Libraries buy their books, they're not getting them for free. So when you request a book, or a lot of people request a book and it's always on the checked out waiting list, then they're going to buy more copies of the book. And that doesn't even mention the number of authors I've found that I never would have tried if it wasn't for a sample from the library. But once I realized all of their stuff, I ended up going out, buying their books, buying the rest of their series, and it's a great way to get an introduction to a new author because there are so many out there that I can't buy every one and try them out. Now, like I said, I love the library, but I'm not an expert. And the cool thing about Booktube is that we've actually got librarians as part of our community. So I'm going to link a couple of them down below, and I'm curious what you guys think of the library. Let me know down in the comments below, and until next time, see ya.